Mamá, papá, mi cuerpo crece a un ritmo alarmante y la ropa que me compren ahora me quedará muy pequeña muy pronto. Pero su billetera no tiene que sufrir por la moda con los precios bajos de la vuelta a clases de Amazon. Amazon, gasta menos, sonríe más.
Toyota's National Sales Event is happening now with great deals on a wide range of trucks like the rugged full-size Tundra, or check out an off-road ready Tacoma. Visit buyatoyota.com for more. Toyota, let's go places.
This is Optimal Living Daily, The Power of Momentum, and The Search for Yourself, both by Catherine of CommonSenseLiving.ca, and I'm your very own personal narrator, Justin Malik, reading to you from some amazing blogs and books to help you optimize your life. Topics include personal development, productivity, and minimalism, mostly, in an effort to make your and my day just even a little bit happier. So let's get right to today's 2 posts as we optimize your life. The Power of Momentum by Catherine of CommonSenseLiving.ca. Quote, "We all deal with setbacks, but in the long run, the quality of our lives depends on the quality of our habits. With the same habits, you'll end up with the same results. But with better habits, anything is possible." James Clear. Our life changes the day we decide we have had enough. We've had enough of the same way of living, of mindlessly watching shows or movies, some that may not even interest us that much. We've had enough of the brain rot doom scroll. We find ourselves looking up things that don't advance your life, like Googling, "What does skibbity toilet mean?" You can't help but think there's more to life than this, whatever this is. You inevitably start to reflect and come to terms with the fact that you have been on autopilot for quite some time now. You realize you have made excuses instead of making effort towards better habits. For me, my biggest excuse is my daughter. Mom is too tired, so she can't do that. Mom has been cooking all day, so she should veg out and watch a movie. She deserves to relax. She deserves to shut her brain off. She deserves to be lazy after working all day. And all of a sudden, this becomes your life. The truth is, my daughter should be my greatest motivator. Every day I try to be the best mom possible for her, to keep her out of harm's way while also giving her the space to make her own mistakes. Parenthood is a delicate balancing act of holding on and letting go, and in the space of over a year, I'm guilty of forgetting myself. Creating life, birthing it, and raising a child is a full-time job. The results could be an overly tired, overstimulated parent who just wants to relax at the end of the day, and who can blame them? However, just like in parenthood, it's important to remember that life is a balancing act of holding on and letting go. We create these habits for ourselves, good or bad, and they eventually become a part of our identity. We start to tell ourselves stories of why this is possible or why we couldn't possibly do that. But what is stopping you besides yourself? One day we just become sick of the reality we have created for ourselves and start to think, isn't there more to life than this? Recently, I've started getting back into exercise after a 2-month hiatus, and I've realized that good habits compile much as bad habits do. After moving my body, it made me realize just how good taking care of myself felt. Because of this, it made me wonder what else I could optimize. I started reading again, which is when I finally picked up Atomic Habits by James Clear, a book I've been having my eye on for a long time, but kept saying I never had time to read, even though I'd spent so much time doom scrolling on my phone. After reading, this has led me to writing the article you've stumbled upon now. I'm proof that the power of momentum works. Time and time again, I found myself getting into motivation ruts, sometimes after times of heavy motivational exertion, to the point that I may have overdone it. The best way to maintain habits is not to go all out when motivation sets in, but to go at your own pace. This could start slow and build up over time, or it could just be at consistently the same pace. Either way, consistency is key. Every day is not going to feel optimal, but what matters is that you show up anyway. Whether it's for you or for your loved ones, you get closer to reaching your goals by remembering to also care for yourself. The power of momentum is a very powerful thing if we keep harnessing that energy. We may not always feel that same jolt of motivation as the first day you started these better habits, but it's important to remember why you started this in the first place and to remember to show up consistently. The Search for Yourself by Catherine of CommonSenseLiving.ca. Quote, each man's life represents a road toward himself. Herman Hesse. The search for who I truly am started in a weird place, the search for a new job. After feeling disrespected at my previous job, I decided to leave because I knew that I was more worthy than the way my colleagues perceived me to be. Saying I worked in a toxic work environment is an understatement. Although I was appreciated and respected everywhere else in the company, my department seemed to hate my guts, no matter how hard I tried to improve myself and be kind to them. In the end, I found I was losing myself in order to try to fit into this environment. The final push came one day, 5 minutes before finishing my shift, and from then on, I decided that I had had enough. I started looking for jobs. The same care I had for the job was hard to maintain, as I knew the ones above me saw me as much lesser than. However, the job search was a blessing in disguise. It helped me determine who I wanted to be. Success is often defined by career and outward possessions. To some degree, we all play a role in this world and have an outward persona that we want the world to perceive us as. But who are you actually? In the few weeks I was looking for a job, I had to sit myself down. Originally, I started focusing on eating well and exercising more. It was nice to have goals that were outside the work environment. After that, I felt there was something missing. I'd fallen into the productivity trap again. I wanted to work on myself, which is great, but in reality, I wanted something to distract me from the true question I should have been asking myself: what do I want out of life? After reflecting on this, I realized that my goals had nothing to do with work at all. They were not so much career-focused as they were more focused on areas in my own personal life I can improve. Turns out that I had sort of been living my idea of a good life the entire time. I aimed to be true to myself no matter what happens and to stand up for myself when no one else would. I aimed also not to lose myself while looking for a job. In the search for a job, I found myself. I found that I was worth so much more than a job and that no matter how much my salary was, there was no price that could be put on me. I'm also not worthy of employment just because of my career or academic achievements. I'm worthy simply because I am. So for anyone out there who wants to change their career path or is just questioning their self-worth, I ask you this: what does a successful life look like to you? Sometimes the best thing we can do is slow down. Rarely do we have time to think in the whole hustle and bustle of everyday life. We are used to doing rather than thinking, prioritizing productivity above all else. So don't be afraid to ask yourself the hard questions. Here are some of the questions I asked myself. Your own answers may surprise you. Who am I? Who do I want to be? What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? What are my goals? How will I achieve these goals? And where do I go from here? You could realize that you're already living a successful life after all. You just listened to the posts titled The Power of Momentum and The Search for Yourself, both by Catherine of CommonSenseLiving.ca, and I'll be right back with my commentary. Before we start, I want to share a super powerful practice I use called NSDR, or non-sleep deep rest. In just about 10 minutes or so, this yoga nidra practice leaves you feeling as refreshed as after a nap without actually sleeping. Experience it for yourself on our guided podcast. Search NSDR and look for the one from Optimal Living Daily. Thank you to Catherine. I thought these two articles went together really well. The first one talks about how one small habit can create momentum. And the second one is about how that journey can lead you to find yourself. And that really mirrors my own experience, especially with starting this podcast network. When my business partner and I started the very first show, this one, Optimal Living Daily, the plan wasn't to have a big network. The one habit was just to produce a single episode every day. But just like she said, that one action started to build momentum. Doing that first show consistently gave us the confidence and the know-how to start a second one, which was Optimal Finance Daily. And then that one led to my brother's show, Optimal Health Daily, just a couple months later. Each new habit building upon the last one. It wasn't some grand plan from the beginning. It was just the power of that initial momentum carrying us forward. And that's where the second article comes in, because through that whole process of building, I was sort of on my own search for myself, even if I didn't realize it at the time. It was defining what meaningful work looked like for me. I realized that my definition of a successful life wasn't about climbing a corporate ladder for sure. It was about creating something and having autonomy and connecting with people through these articles. Kind of found myself in the work, just like Catherine found herself in the job search. So I think it's a great way to look at it. You don't always have to have the big answers right away. Sometimes you just need to start with one small good habit and then trust that the momentum will not only carry you forward, but also help you discover who you are along the way. So wishing you well on the journey, wishing you a great rest of your day, and I'll see you tomorrow where your optimal life awaits.